What's good, y'all? It's Timmy Too Dope. I appreciate y'all clicking on this video and kicking it with me today. DJ Head said stay on stream. Elliot Wilson and Jeremy Hecht said this is going to be a great day, or they might have said a great week in hip-hop. And after a couple delays, a couple pushbacks, we finally got what they were talking about in the form of a Red Bull Spiral Freestyle featuring Big Sean, Ab-Soul, and Joey Badass. For the majority of the video, I just want to go through some of the most notable lyrics, just break them down, because every single one of these MCs gassed it. They absolutely smoked these verses. Ab-Soul touching on the East Coast, West Coast rivalry going on this year, addressing Joey directly during the battle. Joey holds down the last verse, and he fires the most shots that he's thrown throughout this entire rivalry in this verse right here. The most direct shots, the most impactful shots were in this freestyle, in this cipher right here. And he absolutely set the internet on fire. That's all, anybody can talk about on hip-hop Twitter, just on hip-hop social media, period, right now. And Big Sean definitely did his thing too. So let's waste no more time. Let's dive into some of these lyrics. A lot of y'all my seeds. I see Janae should have had you. Janae is his wife. I believe his wife. No, because there's that controversy with them not being married yet. So his girl, his fiance, basically his wifey, the mother of his child. A lot of y'all see my seeds. A lot of y'all my seeds. I see Janae should have had you. A lot of y'all confuse tough skin for having tattoos. That line right there really reminds me of just how influential someone like Lil Wayne is. I think he's one of the most influential rappers that we've ever seen. And that's like the modern day rapper starter kit, is to have locks and to have tattoos, and a lot of tattoos. And it gives off that tough guy image, that tough skin image, but beyond that, underneath all that, it's just a regular human being, you know what I mean? Just like a regular person, just like you and me, that bleeds like you and me, that has sensitivities just like you and me, but they're covering all of that up with tattoos, trying to give off that tough guy persona. Then Drop Gems went diamond, but my favorite is Angie Stone. Drop gems meaning give game, give out info, drop jewels, drop knowledge, whatever you want to call it. Went diamond as far as selling records, but my favorite is Angie Stone. Angie Stone, of course, RIP, just passed away very unfortunately, very tragically, earlier this year. But she's soul R&B absolute legend from back in the day. Love that wordplay. Drop gems, diamonds, Angie Stone. Then he calls himself a grave digger. How dudes even want my name on their tombstone? Then I think Soul comes in and says yay or nay. And I do think that's a reference to Ye, Kanye, because Kanye and Sean have had, their disputes from back in the day, from when Sean was on Good Music. Been the GOAT since the goatee and pow chains and Tisa hats. I even made the goat's cheese. If you like me, you've been with Sean since way back in the day. Get you some bullshitting. That era of Big Sean. That's what he's talking about right here. I've been the greatest of all time since back then. I even made the goat's cheese. I think that's another reference to Kanye and their falling out. Was about, a lot of money type deal. And that's the Sean verse, bro. Absolutely gassed it. I'm just breaking it down, reading it to y'all, but of course with the beat and hearing his flow and his cadence, definitely takes it to another level. The internet is the internet. The internet don't know what the hell they're talking about most of the time. And I see a lot of people trashing this verse, saying, Sean got washed and whatever. That's just the internet doing internet things, bro. Don't listen to none of them. Listen to this whole thing when you're done watching this video, so you can fully take it in. And hopefully I give you some more context by breaking down some of these lyrics. But man, a great Big Sean verse. And I'm hoping that he has some more music to come behind this. But let's move on to next verse. We got Ab-Soul. Actually, before that, and a thing I wanted to touch on, the camaraderie throughout this whole thing. Just them having a good time, talking their shit, barring up, being competitive, But at the same time, arms around each other, laughing, joking. This is what hip hop should be. If you think about it in terms of like sports and shit, there's so many times where athletes, a wide receiver and a DB, talking shit all week. Oh, I'm the best. Oh, no, I'm the best. Oh, man, you don't want to run this type of route against me. Oh, man, I'll lock you up over here. And then the game comes, they clash. They might be tearing at each other, ripping helmets off during during the game and shit. But then after, hey, man, you got me. That shit you did right there, that shit was fire. But next time, it ain't gonna happen like that. That's the type of shit that you're seeing here. You know, I have no doubt that these guys are good friends off the camera as well, too. And I think it definitely shows through here. In between Sean and Soul's verse, I think Soul talking, he's saying, and your wifey said I was gonna wash you. Talking to Big Sean, I do believe, talking about Janae. And I took it easy, man. And then I think Sean says, oh, man, I told you that in confidence, big bro. You had to do me like that. Janae, once upon a time, called Ab Soul her favorite rapper. So, you know, they're all cool. They kind of got that brother-sister relationship, which I think is dope. Soul starts off his verse by saying, my lady told me somebody told me my career was in the trash. Something about missing my window or something. Talking about windows of time. But he's taking it in a literal sense. My lady told me my career was in the trash. Something about missing a window or something. I wanted to laugh and shatter the glass she was referring to. We've all heard about glass ceilings and shit like that. Because she ain't got a clue of what I turn into when I enter the booth. Just going along with what I just said. Neither do I. But I do know that kryptonite is not an issue. Plus the cape will be navy blue. Because I believe he's a Crip. So he's saying, when I get in the booth, I turn into Superman, but kryptonite is not an issue. Kryptonite is his only weakness, but I have no issue when I get in the booth. Plus, the cape will be navy blue. It won't be a red cape like Superman's really, actually rocking. It'll be something a little more Absol coated. You stuck in the lowest lane. It ain't a bird or a plane, and I'm rather faster than Burner's vein. I don't know what he mean by I'm rather faster than Burner's vein. Someone fill me in on that. But just to go along with the Superman scheme that he was on. Plus the cape will be navy blue. You stuck in the lowest lane. The lowest lane. As there's a medium lane, a high lane. You in the lowest lane. But lowest lane. Some wordplay to go along with the Superman scheme. It ain't a bird or a plane. Again, going back with the Superman scheme. Even if you was related to Shaba, you wouldn't make rank. Shaba ranks, you wouldn't make rank. You wouldn't rank anywhere. We're talking about money, skill, notoriety, sales. If you were related to Shaba and your last name was rank, you still couldn't rank in any of those categories. Now is when it really starts to get interesting. These are the most controversial lyrics, the most talked about lyrics right here. Of course, he's, referring to the East Coast, West Coast rivalry that was going on at the start of this year. Joey dropped The Ruler's Back and had Daylyt, Ray Vaughn, with a bunch of tracks respond back to Joey Badass. And Absol stayed pretty neutral. He really didn't say much. And I think it's mostly because, as he's going to get into, he was conflicted because, yes, he's a West Coast dude. One of the most lyrical, bar-heavy rappers out of the West Coast. So yeah, people would look to him to be like, you should step in and say something defending your coast. But at the same time, he's very close friends with Joey Badass and has been since, way back when. Since like XXL cover days, or maybe even before that. So put him in a weird spot. He's going to talk about it right here. He says, the ruler's back, referring to the track that Joey dropped. In fact, I never left, calling himself the ruler, in which case, Joey, you put me in a sticky predicament. I had to show solidarity to my syndicate, I had to show solidarity to, my side, my West Coast homies. Now, anybody can get it in such a way that will make any physician conflicted. Anybody can get it. Like, I'm gonna fuck anybody up in such a way it'll leave any physician conflicted. It'll leave like the most experienced physicians who, work with bodies and shit, looking at your body like, yo, what is that? Absol absolutely fucked you up. But listen, the 47 still on my tricep. 47 was It goes deeper than this, but it's like a pro era symbol. Joey Badass, Capital Steez, CJ Fly, I believe, part of pro era. That's like the symbol of pro era. So that's just further layers showing you that Joey and Ab-Soul have always fucked with each other, so much to the point where he got Joey's group's symbol tatted on him. You know what I mean? So they go way back. Listen to 47 still on my tricep. Pass the pot. Let me skill it. Skill it, but skill it. I'm quite the chef. Skill it. I'm the chef. Light was heavy, and Ray definitely stepped. Daylyt and Ray Vaughn. Light was heavy. Like, Light was on your ass. And Ray definitely stepped. He definitely stepped to you. He dropped a couple of tracks, kept the pressure on. But this is hip hop. We know we still on that. It was healthy for the sport, sticking to the roots, keeping it competitive. Just be lucky that Soul ain't stepping in. I love those bars and I hate those bars all in the same breath, bro. Light was heavy, Ray definitely stepped. This is hip hop. You know we still on that. It was healthy for the sport, sticking to the roots, keeping it competitive. Love that part. If you would have just stopped at that, man, these might be my favorite bars in this entire thing. But then he went on to say, just be lucky that Soul ain't stepping in. That just reminds me of the dude that, you know, if you hear like the local gas station got robbed or something like that, you hear somebody, you know, typing on Facebook or whatever, be like, man, if I was in that gas station, bro, he wouldn't have took no money at all. I would have knocked the gun out of his hand, bro. I would have put him in a sleeper hold and I would have held him there until the cops came there, bro. That shit wouldn't have happened on my watch. Yeah, but you weren't there. So of course you're going to say that. Of course you're going to be the armchair quarterback type shit. That's what this is giving me. Yeah, this West Coast, East Coast battle happened, blah, blah, blah. But if I were to get involved in that shit, man, it would have been a different story. I don't want to hear that, bro. I don't want to hear about what could have been. You didn't do anything during the battle, bro. All of y'all would have had to shoot. Talking about if Soul stepped in. A boat with the ocean view. You know what I came to do. Hey, Sean, let me get that hat again and ask Nene who her favorite rapper is. I don't think I mentioned at the beginning of the verse, Soul said something about, you know, let me take off the cap. And then at the end, he says, hey, Sean, let me get the hat again. Puts the hat on. Ask Nene who her favorite rapper is. Janae Aiko. I already filled y'all in saying that Janae once upon a time said Ab-Soul is one of her favorite rappers. Nothing crazy. Of course, they all, you know, they're all in on the joke and stuff. But just poking fun at each other and shit. I love that type of shit. And when you watch the video, if you've seen the video already, you'll see what I'm talking about as far as like their camaraderie and stuff. Like they look like they had a great time before this, during this, and after they shot this. Moving on to the last verse, Joey Badass, the most talked about verse, starts off saying, look, from BK to Carson, Brooklyn to Carson, California, I'm bar none. Proceed with caution, spit fire, it's arson on fire. They don't want the war with the Martian, they send their troops at the general, but I'm the one who absolute. Really fuck with that bar. I'm the one that absolute, and then if you watch the video, Ab-Soul is saluting. So they sending troops at the general, but I'm the one who absolute. You got the word absolute. I'm the definite. I'm the absolute. But I'm the one that Ab-Soul salute, and Ab-Soul literally saluted him in the video. Just love that wordplay. Blasphemy. I don't need no one to blaspheme. We need to cut that. That's one of the bars in hip hop we need to stop saying, bro. Blasphemy. I don't need no one to blast for me. Put that in the same category as like, I got a 30 on me like Curry, or shooting like Devin Booker, or shooting like insert basketball player. Like there's certain bars that are kind of just played out, but I digress. Since the Ruler's Back, they've been trying to measure up. Ruler's Back, of course, as we alluded to, is the song he dropped at the beginning of the year that kind of set all this off. My name ain't Rick, but I talk slick. Don't press your luck, Slick Rick. And I ain't for taking no words back. I'm with all that. It's a pretty direct thing. I ain't taking no words back. I'm with all that. Talking about I ain't taking anything back. I'm with everything I said. But it could also be alluding to Ab-Soul, who just pretty recently dropped a song called All That. I might be reaching though. First off, I can never hate the West Coast. But since dude's coming for Joe, fuck it, let's go. Dudes must have forgot what Dot said on Control. There's still a bunch of sensitive rappers in they pajama clothes. And that's almost an exact quote from Dot on the Control verse. And something I was going to talk about later in the video, but I guess I'll talk about it now. Crazy interesting to me that Big Sean, as we talked about how people are saying that he's a part of these historic moments, but he's always the least talked about thing. Well, you go back to Control, it was Big Sean's song Control that that K-Dot jumped on. He was on the verse, and that's the first verse that K-Dot put out that quote unquote fucked up the game. And then you fast forward years later, he drops the Like That verse, almost the same exact response. But on that he said and nothing's been actually nah. So on the Control verse, he's talking about, and that goes for Jermaine Cole, Big Crit, Wale, named a bunch of rappers and say, I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder y'all. The line that Joey's referring to is from a Kendrick Lamar and Black Hippie TDE BET cipher, where Dot said, and nothing's been the same since I dropped Control and tucked the sensitive rappers back in their pajama clothes. And that time revealed was a pretty much direct reference to Drake. Nothing's Been the Same was the name of Drake's a Drake album. Nothing's been the same since I dropped Control, tucked them sensitive rappers back in their pajama clothes. So just, I mean, this all started with Dot, and it's just crazy how Dot is just the center of all these things. And it's crazy Big Sean again is kind of an integral piece of all these historic moments too. This ain't no East versus West. I just think I'm the best. As a matter of fact, I know these bars could have put bad boys on death row. Kind of crazy how Suge and Puff in jail though. I mean, that is kind of crazy, but one did tell you he was a bad boy, and one did have a label called Death Row. So the signs were kind of there. But I do like the fact that he's talking about it's not an East versus West thing. It's just I'm the best thing. It's just a braggadocious thing. And there were other rappers that came out that weren't necessarily East or West Coast. Mick Jenkins was one that had a lot to say. But I just love the fact that it's getting back to competition, bro. It's just getting back to who has the better bars. And all that extra shit, the Drake and Kendrick beef, went way too far. Not in terms of violence or anything like that, but we see what's going on with the lawsuit. We see how it has absolutely ruined hip-hop media and just hip-hop fandom. So I like this version of competing in hip-hop. And then he says, yo, I was at the party, but I never seen a freak off, alluding to the Diddy parties, because Daylyt, in one of his, I think it was the High U joint, he said that Joey was at those parties. So Joey's saying, yo, I was at the party, but I never seen a freak off. Just kind of clearing his name there. Instead, a battle rapper on stage showing his cheeks off. Daylyt, I'm like the king of antics. He got bars, but as far as battle rapping goes, like the king of antics. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure he took a dump on stage. Like, pulled pants down, just took a shit on stage. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but fuck type of time these dudes be on. Ain't no daylight saving, no sunshine, it won't be long. Here's where we start to get the wordplay. Daylyt and Ray Vaughn, bro, if you're a rapper, that's like shooting fish in a barrel as far as the wordplay that you can do with that shit. Told you I would let you shine, give you space to coexist, cause when I planet aligns, now Daylyt getting eclipsed. Like I said, fish in a barrel with this type of shit. I feel like if you're any rapper worth you know, that has any type of skill, you know, you could keep these flips going for days. Cause when I plan it, organize it, but plan it aligns, now Daylyt getting eclipsed. Y'all know how eclipse happen. You know, the planet goes in front of the sun, or the moon goes in front of the sun. Supernova aura. No, I gotta keep it lit. Made the conversation shift every time I talk my shit. This is revisionist history, cause you didn't. The only time people were talking about you was in the sense of, hey, Joey gotta come harder than this. This ain't gonna get it done, bro. Throughout this beef, that's the only time I really heard your name mentioned. That's the only time I heard the conversation shift when mentioning you throughout this beef. If we're just keeping it a bean, if we're just keeping it a big old garbanzo. No fly zone. Say, oh, is that right? I ain't got a book, no flight. I'm still gonna pack light. That's probably my favorite. At least of the Joey verse. probably my favorite. No fly zone, because Daylyt says something about a no fly zone, which means like you can't come here. Oh, is that right? I ain't got to book no flight. I'm still gonna pack light. Packing someone in some West Coast slang, talking about beat them up, I guess. And in this case, I'm pretty sure it means lyrically. But I ain't gotta book no flight. When you book a flight, you better pack light, or you paying for that extra, you know, overhead shipping fees or whatever. I ain't gotta book no flight. I'm still gonna pack light. Even if I don't pack a flight, I'm still gonna pack light. I'm still gonna beat Daylyt up. And again, hopefully lyrically. I'm up early on the grind. I shine through the late night. I ain't gotta lose no sleep to break Daylyt. Again, just keep with the wordplay, bro. He in his bag right now. Shouldn't give you dudes the time of day, but fuck it. Shine a light on him. I'm a light Ray. Now he's back. Now he's on Ray Vaughn. Now he's on the Ray Vaughn schemes. But how can I say it all in a nice way? If you need the attention, tell Top he gotta pay. Top is the president of Top Dog Entertainment, who Ray Vaughn is signed to. Daylyt might be signed to, not officially, but he's definitely has like, you know, camaraderie partnership with him. I said, what's a little pup to a K9? It's game time. I ain't green on the defensive. I'm on my Draymond green, but being green means inexperienced. So I'm not green on the defensive. I'm used to playing the defensive. I'm on my Draymond. Empty out the whole clip on your click when I aim mine. I'm catching collaterals, hit you all at the same time. Hey, it's 20v1 basically is what Joey's saying. And then they start, he continues the rap, but then they kind of like carry him off, like escort him off stage, like, yo, you going too far. Then they're saying, yo, he really want to rap, he talking that shit. And then they have a whole, dialogue back and forth. He talking about keeping it competitive. Shooter's gonna shoot. Absol daps him up and says, I respect that. Big 47 on my tricep. And, basically says it's all love. So this was one of the best things that I've seen this entire year. As I said in the beginning, the Bigger Picture podcast alluded to it being a great day, great week in hip hop. The responses I've been seeing on Twitter have been great, which, you don't see anything positive over on Twitter. The discourse has been positive and encouraging, and I just absolutely love where we're at in hip hop right now. This type of competition is exactly what I want to see, and if you let DJ Head tell it, we're not done. I don't know what that means, but we're not done apparently as far as this being a great week in hip hop. That's all I got for this video. Check out another one popping up right here, and if it's not too dope, then it's probably mids. Peace.